In the great city of Pataliputra, there once lived a wealthy family. They were blessed with a son, but the child was both pitiable and exasperating. As he grew, he became increasingly obese, until eventually he was so fat that he could no longer walk, eat, defecate, or even sit by himself. His parents and relatives were utterly helpless. No persuasion or punishment could make him change. At last, in despair, they decided to abandon him. They carried him to the cremation ground and left him there to die. Not long after, a compassionate yogi passed by and, moved by pity, brought him some food. But the boy was unable even to raise himself to bring the food to his mouth. "If you can't even sit up to eat," said the yogi, "how can you possibly do anything else?" The boy replied sorrowfully, "I am utterly useless. That's why my parents abandoned me here, to die." The yogi pondered for a moment and then said, "I wonder whether you might be able to practice some spiritual discipline while lying here." The boy replied, "I think perhaps I could, but who would ever teach someone like me?" The yogi agreed to teach him. He bestowed upon him the empowerment of Hevidra and instructed him in the profound completion stage meditation. The yogi said, "Visualize a tiny universe the size of a mustard seed at the tip of your nose. Within it, imagine 100 million world systems." The boy asked, "Will any signs or experiences arise?" The yogi answered, "If you practice exactly as I've said, you will soon find out for yourself." So the boy followed the instructions and meditated. In the end, all those 100 million worlds, along with the mustard seed itself, dissolved into emptiness. In each moment of experience, the realization of Mahamudra spontaneously arose. After 9 years of practice, he attained the city of Mahamudra and became renowned as the Lazy Yogi, Ajogi. Having worked selflessly for the benefit of others, he finally entered the Dakini paradise. Ajogi is an authentic example of an eccentric yogi who was despised and rejected by others. Weak in both body and mind, incapable of any ordinary activity, he could only lie on the ground and practice the simplest form of yoga, and yet he attained realization. Bringing such tantric methods into today's hospitals or mental institutions could be profoundly transformative and even inspiring. With appropriate adaptation of language and therapeutic context, these practices could at the very least break habitual patterns of thought, expand the mind, and possibly even lead to the realization of Mahamudra. However, what is missing in Western psychiatric institutions is the motivation and spiritual yearning essential for such practice. Ajogi practiced because he both received food and compassion from his guru, and felt the terror of death while lying in the cremation ground. These two factors stirred the motivation necessary for realization. The completion stage practiced by Ajogi is among the simplest forms. The momentary effort to visualize a mustard seed and its contents effectively dissolves conceptual thoughts into emptiness, similar to imagining something non-existent. Once emptiness arises even in a corner of the mind, it permeates the entire stream of consciousness.